In preparing for this afternoon's message, I was reminded because of the topic, which you will find out later. In my school days, I was told, and of this English idiom that says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Have you all heard of this idiom before? All right, sticks and stones may break my bones, and that's true, but words will never hurt me. It is used to say to our children, parents say to the children, it came from that they come back from school and they were told things not nice about them. And as a result of that, they come home crying, and the parents just tell them that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt it. So don't worry about that. Now we all know, whether you're a believer or not, that this is not true. This is definitely not true. If someone hit you physically and everything, you might take 1 month, 2 months to recover from the pain. And you probably will forget it. But lies, false testimony, and gossip against you, and the pain it causes, usually lasts a very, very long time. Even if you forgive immediately, they last a long time. And I will say this is not true because I find in the Bible telling us that in Proverbs 18:21, which is not what we want to preach about today, that the tongue has the power of life and death. The tongue has the power of life and death. In my last two messages and in today's message, it all deals with the issues of our heart. Well, we sang the song earlier on, and we will sing that song again. Think, what is good, think what is pure, think and all that. But as you think, actually, it comes from your heart. It deals with issues in your heart. Issues that we need to, like today's one, not just to hear and to acknowledge, oh, this is true, I agree with it and all that. But actually to take it after today also, to reflect and examine our heart honestly before God. And in examination, I pray we will not escape or avoid what God has to say us individually. Because we are at various stages of our life. And we are in different phases and different kinds of work. But the word will stand still true. And I pray we will take care to examine our heart on our own and respond appropriately, as I've said before. Proverbs 4:23 says this: above all else, bear this in mind, and this is what I mean, examine your heart. Guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Very familiar to all of us. And we always lift up verse 24, which says, put away perversity from your mouth, keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Why? Guard your heart and keep perverse thoughts. Because you need to guard your heart, because God is more interested in what you are. That means your being than your doing. And it's your heart that is really your being, not your doing. Your doing is only on the surface. And therefore, guard your heart. And it's not about physical heart. In fact, if you carefully study it, when it says guard your heart, it involves all your 5 senses actually. When you say, I desire something, it has to be something to do with your eyes first. You look and you desire it. It has to be some emotion it evokes. And it has to be something that in the end you end up, if I desire to eat durian, it will end up going to buy and do and all that. It encompasses everything. And so God said, guard your hearts. But it is interesting here in verse 24, it says, put away perversity from your mouth, keep corrupt talk from your lips. We are immediately told That guarding your heart almost seems to start with your mouth. I will be sharing about lies, falsehood, and gossip from the passage of Proverbs today. But let me just debunk some false information, if you like to. One false information is that sticks and stones may break my bones, right? Words will not hurt me. That is not true. Another thing is, I think in the Christian realm, we always like to debate about white lies and all kinds of lies, gray lies, black lies, white lies, and everything. Especially white lies. Now, I want to debunk this from the beginning, so when I use the word lies, you can correct it. White lies is always taken to be something you say or you do, so-called, that will not hurt the person. Or you don't want to hurt the person, or you don't want the situation to get worse. So you say, I tell a white lie. Example, and we think that it doesn't hurt a person, but I want to debunk that very clearly with an illustration that came to my mind. We very often say white lies. If my wife were to ask me, or ask you better, don't ask me, because she knows what opinion I will say. But if my wife were to ask you, one of the ladies here, and she came out in a dress, and she said, what do you think of this dress? And one of you look at her, because she asked you, and you look up and down, and you think, it's a nice dress, but it is not appropriate for her. It is too short. It is too revealing. It is too tight. It is not appropriate for her, not appropriate for a pastor's wife. What do you say? Okay to say a white lie? Oh, you look beautiful indeed. Wow, it makes you 20 years younger. No harm. You don't want to hurt her. Intention is good and everything. I'm not talking about bad intention in white lies. Everything is good. But have you thought about the other perspective? She goes away, your comments and everything. She trusted you, she believed you. And she started buying dresses that way, and she started dressing that way. Inappropriately, too fanciful for her age. And she continues doing that because you have just told her a white lie. Did it not hurt anybody? Intention is not to hurt, but it does hurt. It may not be feelings, but she has taken your comments and to be. So I just want to say and debunk this as we go on so that we won't debate about white lies. Because when the Bible in Proverbs 6 talks about lies, it just talks about lies. Go with me in Proverbs chapter 6. In Proverbs 6, verse 16 to 19. 16 to 19, and we can flash up the wordings there for you. And it says, right this way. There are 6 things the Lord hates, and 7 that are detestable to him. And he named them: haughty eyes, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to run into evil, false witness who pours out lies, and a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. Now, let me just say this. I've said it, I remember in one message before when we started Proverbs. Proverbs is written in a poetic form. So when it mentions that there are 7 things the Lord hates, okay, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 things that are detestable to him, it is not saying 7 things. This is the ancient Hebrew way of writing to bring forth an effect. Basically, it is not that God only hates 7 things. All right? And then he names all this here. What basically it is said in our language today, accurately translated today, it means God hates all sin. Okay? God hates all sin. All right? Not only 6 of them that is mentioned, but he must mention first and foremost And he didn't say it's exhaustive. I hate sins. I hate all sins, but these are 6 that I clearly detest. And I need you to understand my attitude towards these 6 things. And you know why he says that? And why he names that? Because these are Satan's strongest weapon and most destructive to believers. Satan's strongest and most destructive weapon to believers, whether a new believer or old-time believers. And he named them. He hates lies. He detests lies. It is taboo, if we want to use the word, unthinkable that a Christian should lie. It is an abomination, some version puts it that way. And 3 of them in the list here, which is not exhaustive, 3 of them involves the mouth. And I will just expand a little bit on it, and then we talk about the destructiveness. We talk about his declaration of it against sin, and then among it, the mouth. And then we talk about the destructiveness of lies, and then our defense against lies. 3 of them mentioned, if you look carefully, a lying tongue, you can spot that very easily. False witness, you can see that very quickly also. Now, there is one more, a man who caused up dissension. That's gossip. That's gossip. Dissension is always caused by gossip. A lying tongue. A lying tongue, he deals with it first because it's the start of lies. A lying tongue is a starting point of lies. One who starts the lies. It is any deviation from the truth, whether spoken or written. Spoken or written. Its attempt is to be deceitful and from hiding you from the truth. Example is like slandering. It's also lying. Slandering. When we say bad things about another person, we are slandering. When we say bad things, it's lying already because that's the intention, but we use the word slander. If you say good things about that person, it's not slandering. Why slandering is lying or why it is? Because your intention is to bring down his character. So when we bring down somebody's character, we better be sure what's your objective. If it's just to bring down and not correction, we are slandering. If it's to bring down so that you look better, it is slandering. Now, many people have gotten, and you know that, you may have experienced that, to be professional at slandering. They slander not so obviously, but it is slandering. Example, someone might say, wow, this is the first time seeing him so helpful. I wonder why he is doing it. Ever thought about that statement? First time in my life, I see him being so helpful and so hardworking. I wonder why he is doing it. You can understand. It may be not an outward lie, but you know that is that slandering. And sometimes we say this, if you ask my opinion, I don't know him, but I wouldn't trust him. If you ask my opinion, of course you're free to give your opinion, but you don't know him, you say that, I won't trust him. What are you trying to imply to the next person? What are you trying to do? I'm sure not building up that person. And our topic today has to deal about relationship in our study of Proverbs. We have moved about our relationship with God, our relationship to finances and to our work. and then our relationship to our friends. And lies has a lot to do with friendship and more than that. When we slander, we want to maintain a good image of ourselves. A person who slander, it is a sign of insecurity and pride. You lie because of pride and because of insecurity. You are too insecure to admit a mistake. And God's declaration on lies is very clear. From other parts of Proverbs, I'm going to give it to you. Proverbs 19:5 clearly says, a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who pours out lies will not go free. No need a lot of expansion. Lies will be punished. You will never escape it. That's why we say a person who starts lying will always have to keep track of his lies so that he will not be found out. Proverbs 19:9, a false witness will not go. Now he mentioned false witness. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who pours out lies will perish. False witness and lies goes together. And I will explain a little bit about false witness. But he says, will perish. Revelation 21:8 makes it even clearer what you mean by perish. We don't like to hear this. Now, you must understand, God hates all sins. All sins will be punished. There is no such thing as big sin and small sin. All sin will be punished. And in verse 21:8, it talks about this. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, notice the category that is mentioned. The murderers, the sexually immoral, which we all say, thank God we are not like that. Those who practice magic arts, I'm not involved. You are not involved. The idolatrous, thank God I am saved. We all know that and acknowledge. And then it says, and all liars. Their place will be in the fiery lake of burning sulfur. You know where that is. This is the second death. This is God's declaration on lies. It's not mine, it's not anything. I'm not going to go and tell somebody, hey, you lie, you will go to hell. It might be true, but I will have that person read the word carefully. You see, liars are put together with the unbelievers. In other words, if a Christian lies, we are like an unbeliever. We equate ourselves to an unbeliever. We are the worst kind of sinners, murderers, sexual perversion and all that, idolaters. God grouped all of them together. He didn't say, the rest I will treat more lightly, but he groups this to emphasize so that he takes away our idea lying is a small thing. Just like bribery is a small thing. Integrity will not be found out. I am safe. The whole idea is to search our heart about it. So liars, God's declaration on liars is this. And lying is slandering. Lying is the start of it all. But what about false witness, which he mentioned also? False witness, I call it the silence over lies. You may be silent. You may not be the start of it. But false witnesses are more dangerous. They are more dangerous because his or her silence or witness, if he or she speaks, can damage a good reputation. Now, this word here in the Bible is also used as a court term where a witness stands on the stand and give witness. And the judge is there saying, what have you to say about this person and all that? What testimony have you to give? And your words will prove that person innocent or guilty. It will be taken into account. And your witness, therefore, by being silent, can damage an innocent party's reputation. By not saying that, Your Honor, I think this person, no, I know this person to be helpful, and there is not even a strand of wickedness there, and everything you are helping. But by just not saying that, you're not helping, especially if the innocent is being accused. Conversely, if that person stands trial and he has murdered somebody or he's committed some crime and everything, and you stand on the witness board there and say, I don't know, or just remain silent. Have you seen anything? And you just remain silent. You are protecting, or what I call, a guilty person, and you may set the guilty person free. That's what we mean by a false witness. You can ruin a good reputation of someone innocent. You can set someone guilty totally free, wrongly free, by just keeping silence. Silence always. Now, I say this because I know gossip do happen in church, lies do happen in church, false information do happen in church, whether the objective is evil or not, but we hear and sometimes we just keep quiet. If I know a person to be such a person and he or she is being accused, I just keep silent so as not to create problem. Then we get into trouble. We are being a false witness. We actually leave. If someone says something bad about, let's say, Roy Lam here, and I say, or I just keep quiet, we actually leave a negative impression. And worst of all, a lot to the imagination. A lot to the imagination. You may not add to the lie that started. You may not be the starting point of the lie, but your silence over lies can create a deeper problem. False witness. Psalm 7:8. Listen to this. I say this because when you do not speak out for someone and you do not speak out for truth, you're not doing the righteous thing. That's the first thing. And you lack integrity. You know it's truth, but you won't speak out. You lack integrity and you're not standing up for righteous. Psalm 7:8 says this, let the Lord judge the peoples. Let the Lord judge. Judge me, the writer says, O Lord, according to what? My righteousness and according to my integrity. O Lord, Most High. The next time you want to remain silent about rumors, you want to remain silent about false information, I suggest you remember Psalms 7:8. So we have starters of lies, people who start lies. We have people who keep silence over lies. And then we have the worst kind, which people who spread the lies. Gossip. Gossip that causes dissension. Gossip, we gossip because people gossip because they want to promote the false story that is started by someone else. They just promote it. Or they just pass on something, and then later they might say, hey, I didn't know that is not true. No? Or I'm not too sure if that is true or not. They just pass on something that has not been established as the truth. Or they do not know, and they just pass it on. This is gossip. This is gossip. And I think we need to be very, very careful, because very often gossip produces troubles and division, dissension between friends and church. You may not be the starter of it, you may not end it. And therefore, gossip often people call, in our pastor circle, we call it the devil's radio. The devil's broadcast. The initial statement not crucial thing, or it may, but because we never verify it, we never check it out, we either remain silent or worse, we just pass it along. And we always end up saying, I'm not sure this is true or not true. I suggest you take a sure. You see, the problem in gossip is not the starting point. The problem in gossip is not that it is untrue. The problem in gossip is that you are the seconder of it. Someone passed a motion and you say, I second that. That's the problem. It's your reaction that lie. So if you have to gossip, let me tell you what you can gossip. Gossip about the gospel. You know it is true. Gossip, 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 gossip as much as possible about it. Just gossip. You know it's true. Gossip. So we need to be very careful of this. Don't be a seconder. Very quickly, I just want to say this. These days on your handphone, WhatsApp or whatever it is, Twitter, Facebook, do all things YouTube. Do all things true. I tell you what I do. When someone forward a message to me and don't write anything about it, and especially it comes from where I know it's either YouTube or something like that, I most likely will do it. And I have chided people, and I will chide you again. If you pass on a message without verifying whether it's true, it might sound very nice, it might sound very true. But if you have not verified the source, because the source is not the problem, it's you seconding it. It's still possible. I know this is very hard. You need to learn the people and the speak. People say you're speaking. There's a checkpoint before you listen. Such as if someone is saying the exact same thing about me, ask to hear this. If someone is saying the same thing about me, would I like it to be passed on without it having been verified? Ask yourself that before someone tells you. We have it. Even in the name of Christianity, we say Christianity has been persecuted, and we pass that message all along, beheading and so on. Verify it. I'm not talking about France or anything. Even if on the radio and every on the TV, you need to be very careful because everything you cannot be that. Some are just deliberately essentially just religious. Let's be very, very careful. Christian, enough said about lies. Enough said about false testimony. Right? Starting point, silence and spreading. Let's look at the destructiveness. The most destructive thing, as simple as it is to us, is that it diminishes our respect for truth. It diminishes, it's like cutting down your respect for truth, which we must stand for. We read the word of God, we say we have the truth. We give testimony, we praise God, and everything. Lies will start diminishing respect. And worst of all, it reduces sensitivity to the ugliness of such. It is the ugliness of lies that God makes such a strong statement, declaration against lies. Otherwise, why would he do that? And just group it with that group and the category. It's because lies is very ugly while looking very innocent. It is Satan's strongest weapon. It numbs us. Once we start to lie, a white lie or whatever it is, which I do not have, I don't call that white lies. I don't clarify them. Once I lie means I lie. No matter what my intention is, it numbs us to lying, and soon it becomes like I'm speaking the truth. And the worst part is this, people can know it, but you don't sense it because you're so numb to it already. Heard about the word that say, he's speaking lies. It's all lies through his teeth. He's spewing out all, but he doesn't know. He thinks it's truth already. It becomes like truth to him. It doesn't matter. He's feeling his own numb. There is no more conscience. His conscience is completely shut. And he just gets deeper and deeper into it. Lies has caused more problems and destroyed more things than we know of. It has destroyed more things than our hands, our legs, and whatever we have done physically. All of that put together has never managed more destruction than lies. You and I know that. Sometimes I utter a comment, a remark too fast, correct, and everything. But it has caused hurt, even with the right intention. Even if it doesn't fall into the category of lies. Our mouth, we must guard it very quickly. With our mouth, we have also discouraged people from doing something good. Have we not? With our opinions and all these things. And this all comes, although they don't come under lies, what I'm telling you today, the destructiveness of lies, because it already has a negative objective, is worse than your good intention already. Relationships has been destroyed because of lies. All kinds of relationships. Just let me mention a few without going into the details of it. It has separated years of good friendship. Because of one lie, 20 years good friend with Ahai, because I lied to him, he feels betrayed, it separates friendship. Or both of us continue to be good, but somebody says something about Ahai and everything, and I don't act on it, he feels betrayed. Years of good friendship. It has created tension in marriage. Those of you who have married, you know that. If you are caught lying to your spouse experiences the most painful thing. Trust immediately is greatly affected. Trust is immediately affected. And it allows suspicion to creep in. And very often, the loss of intimacy. I've dealt with couples and everything and all that. And they keep on returning, and they keep on saying the same thing. He keep on saying he worked overtime, but the other night, he wasn't working overtime, and the husband did not have adultery or anything. He just didn't have that accountability to call back or just forgot or whatever. And it is verified. He was innocent. It was true. But somehow he decided to tell his wife, I work overtime. Maybe just an easy thing to pass by so that she won't question further and everything and all that. And then it is always suspicious when he's not home at the usual time. It has created, lies has created in small groups for all of us to be guarded. In a small group, once I know someone will lie or anything like that, it becomes, it becomes very difficult to be transparent, and it causes a lot of skepticism. Is it not true? So a small group can go on for 20 years or 30 years, but the surface at the surface level only. You never go deeper. You cannot connect. You are in contact, but you cannot connect. You see, contacting one another, being in contact and being connected is two different things. You understand what I'm saying? Lies has caused division in church and split them. But the destructiveness of lies also affects the individual who lies, the individual who's caught in lies. You cause him to be he caused himself to be mistrusted. Once I lie, it creates a situation whereby the next time I speak the truth, you wonder if it's a lie or truth. James Dobson wrote this, I quote him. If you tell me the truth all the time, I can believe you all the time. Isn't that beautiful? If you tell me the truth part of the time, I can't believe you any of the time. Put it sharply, put it, succinctly. I would say, what upsets me most when you lie to me is not that you lied to me, but from now on, I can no longer believe you. I can't decide if you're telling the truth or telling the lie. It will drop in my mind. It will come back. There can be forgiveness and everything, but it will come back. You see, the destructiveness of lies is that it takes away everybody's credibility. Integrity is in question. Credibility is in question. And even when you want to say, I will be responsible, that question is always there. Worst part for us Christians is this. When we share the gospel, we have lied, we share the gospel, we just wonder. You have lied to me before. Can I trust that what you are saying, that eternal life is real? When you come out and you share your testimonies, oh, God do amazing thing and everything. I was thinking, are you exaggerating? Did that really happen? When we preach, when we teach, all those are affected. And even our desire is to honor God and glorify God. And we do it in many other areas of service, in ministry and all that. Integrity, credibility, all are put in questions. Our relationship is all affected. You see, the destructiveness of lies is not, it doesn't affect one area only, your work. It affects every area of your life, your social life, your home life, your relationship with the wife, your relationship with your mother, your relationship with the church group, your relationship with the church. All those can be destroyed by just what you call lies. Consider that. I actually wondered why the last three messages I spoke seems to be very tough messages. One is about integrity. Another one is about bribery. They all seems to be very small things, and this is seems wrong. But I think what God wants us to realize, and God has given to me, is to say, I am going to test you of it. I'm going to test you, which brings me to my third point. God is telling me, I'm going to test you, so your defense against lies. Don't say you never lie. I will not say I have never lied before, but I'm not going to say I will not lie in the future. So our defense against lies is not as simple as making a commitment alone. You can stand up at the end of this message and make a commitment. I will not lie as a Christian. In fact, I give you all the benefit. I trust you that you do not want to lie. Is it not true? I can ask you a simple question, unless you want to put your hands down. How many of you decide that you will not lie? Put up your hands. If you decide that I will not lie, I'm committed not to lie, would you put up your hand? I'm not saying you will be successful. Put up your hands. You mean the rest of you haven't decided whether you will lie or not lie? Let me ask one more. If you are now committed and you have already committed, not now only, not because of this message, that I will not lie, would you put up your hands? Okay. I sense that some of you don't agree in some of the areas. You think white lies are not lies. I sense some of you, maybe you're hesitant. Maybe you have been, tricked by Satan into thinking, I make a commitment, but I don't keep it. I come back. And this is where your defense against lies is not about just a commitment. It is necessary. It is absolutely necessary, the commitment. But you must understand it is a spiritual warfare. Who is the father of lies? You know the answer. The devil, Satan. Lies doesn't start with the flesh. If you see lies as I make a commitment, I won't do it, that means I will never do it, you already lost the battle. Lies, the defense against it is to recognize it's a spiritual warfare. So, Lord Jesus, I make a commitment before you not to lie, but I need you. I need you desperately, because by my flesh, I will lie. By my flesh, when tempted, I will fall into it. It is a spiritual battle. Lord, by my flesh alone and by my commitment, I will still feel. You see, Satan's trap is to get us to feel it doesn't apply to us now. The message is not very relevant. Satan's trap is to get us to feel, I am okay now. Satan's trap is to get us to feel, I'm okay now, and I must admit I'm okay now. And when it comes, I know what to do. I will not lie. And that's why the word, guard your heart, is the wellspring of life. It's not about just commitment of the mouth. It is about your eyes, what you read, what promises you see in God. It is your ear, what you hear, and how you react to it. The path that you walk. Do you walk down a path of danger where you are put into a trap? Satan's weapon is to get you, in a very simple word today, unprepared. You think it is something physical. You think it is only in work and in this life. You do not see a spiritual warfare going on. To get you to feel, currently I'm healthy, I should be prepared for testing. And you end up unprepared for testing. Now I want to talk about one person, Simon Peter, example. You all have read about Simon Peter, how he renounced, maybe not renounced, how he, changed his mind about Jesus, denied Jesus 3 times in one night. How did that happen? I'll tell you how. First thing, think about Simon Peter. There we say he had no commitment to obey Jesus and to do the best for Jesus. When I look at Simon Peter, I sometimes think, I say, Lord Jesus, I want to be as brave as him and as committed as him. When he saw the boat, he walked out first. None of the disciples will walk. He walked on water. Sure, he sunk, but he walked, and that shows his commitment. Simon Peter said to Jesus on that very night, he says, all may betray you, all your disciples, but I'm ready to go to prison and die for you, Jesus. I want that commitment. I want to make that commitment of our lives. Won't you? You see, sometimes we look at Simon Peter just only in the dark side of things, and then we forget that he actually do that. Therefore, he had a very strong, dedicated, and declared his commitment to be loyal to Jesus even unto death. So why did he fail? You can draw reason. He's a scary cat. His faith failed and everything. But I suggest to you, he failed to see spiritual warfare. Read that passage carefully. Jesus said, Simon Peter, Satan has asked. The word Satan is there not just for fun. Jesus didn't say, I will test you. But he said, Satan has asked permission to sift you and test you. And I will pray for you. Jesus prayed for Simon even before he betrayed him. Jesus prayed for Simon based upon his strong commitment, and of course his foreknowledge says you will fall. An interesting thing is that he says, Simon, you will deny me 3 times. So Simon went away, maybe disappointed of everything. How can Jesus say this of me when I make such a strong commitment? How can Jesus say this of me when he knows my heart? If he really knows my heart, I'm committed to him. What was it all based upon? His commitment. His flesh. Jesus prayed for him, but he didn't see that his flesh and his commitment is not enough. And therefore, he didn't see it as a spiritual warfare. The first thing that happens when Jesus was taken away, he was following Jesus from afar. Now, most of us say no faith, nothing at all. Not true. He had faith. But because he depended upon the flesh, he started to think about his own security. He started to think about his own safety and everything. Everything is in the flesh. He reacted and acted according to the flesh. He didn't seek to remember what Jesus told him. Now, how often do we remember the words of God when he tells us, like today? How often do we remember the words of God in Corinthians that say, with every temptation, there is a way of escape. Nothing has tempted you except that is common to man. You see, the spiritual side is not in Simon, only the physical side. So he followed Jesus afar. I call that the intimacy. The spiritual relationship is already gone immediately when he followed Jesus from afar. So when he came to the first person, the lady who just said, hey, I saw you were with him. No, I'm not with him. Denial number 1. Now, if you are in Simon Peter's position, would that not ring a bell? I just said I would not deny Jesus. What happened? What is happening? It seems that it takes me more than my commitment. It seems that it takes more than my declaration about I will not betray you, Jesus. I will go to prison and die for you. It seems it takes more. Maybe he should have told Jesus, I've denied you. I'm gone. This is beyond me to say that I won't deny you. And a little later on, someone saw him there. Yes, you are one of them. No, I'm not with them. You are mistaken. Second time. Where is the spiritual link to Jesus? Did he not realize it's spiritual warfare? Did he not realize that Jesus said, I will pray for you, and that he should turn to Jesus? Jesus, I am a goner. My commitment, my flesh, my everything doesn't count for anything. Help, Jesus. Help. Forgive and help me. No. He went on. Sometimes we feel we just get up and we say, I can do it again. And we don't realize it's spiritual warfare. We have lied and we say, I will not lie this time. Sure, God, I will not lie. Guarantee you. Or we end up lying. You see, the recognition, the defense against lies is to first recognizing it is a spiritual warfare, because Satan is the father of lies. He comes against us. He put words in our mouth. He tells us to safeguard ourselves, and all these things he will continue to do and tempt us at every opportunity. He will put excuses in your mind and everything. He will put logic in your mind. He will tell you, it is okay, it's a white lie on it, it's a small thing, it hurts nobody. White lies hurt. Spiritual. Your defense is to make a commitment. More than that, be armed and realize spiritual warfare. Walk intimately with the Lord Jesus. Walk close to him. Don't follow from far. I want to close by calling us to watch. I've said enough. Proverbs 12:18 says this. Reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of wise trains. Let us guard our heart. And in guarding our hearts, I think the first place is one to think things that are pure, to think things that are noble, to think things that are useful. And as you think about that more and more of each other and of one another, it will spill out of your mouth. Because your mind, your emotions all come. And as you think about that more and more, you think things are noble in everything, you bring healing to our relations. Our relationship with friends, our relationship with broken friends, and everything, all of it can come back. Then, I ask for this song. May the meditation of my heart and words be pleasing to you. Would you stand with me as the song is being played? You can read the wordings if you want for the first time. I like to suggest immediately after that, because it's so simple, so straightforward, to close your eyes, just listen. We talk about being meditative, meditate upon it. And if you need be, make your commitment where you are. Make a strong commitment, as strong as silence. But recognize it is a spiritual warfare. And because it is the spiritual warfare, Satan will throw lies. This is not that you, this is not that. You will be okay one. Everything, he will take every opportunity to bring you away, to recognize, Lord, I need you. I need you. Desperate. My heart is deceitful above all things. But I come before you and I recognize that I want to walk close. Would you just respond as the song is being played?
Let the words of my mouth be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. The meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. Oh Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Oh Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let the words of my mouth be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. The meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, pleasing to you. Oh Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Oh Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Whatever is true, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is worthy, think on these things. Think on these things. Let the words of my mouth be pleasing to you, pleasing